So let me get this straight. You want to make a horror movie based around the fact that April 1st is usually the day of pulling pranks? Yeah. Are you trying to use that as your defense in court, or like killing someone and then going, April Fools, and then everyone laughs as the victim is more likely to bleed out? Are you on crack?
We have a big cast of characters here, so bear with me on this. It's spring break in Canada, and what way to spend it than going to a big, expensive house on a secluded island, thanks to our good friend Muffy.
And I fuck on the first day.
Guy, your fly's open and your hostess Twinkie is hanging out, huh?
Come on if you're coming.
So the six friends head to Muffy's place, taking a ferry as things go south quick. After a quick game of... What the hell is this game called? Mumbletty Peg. Can you tell I have no idea how this is said and it's a British term? A knife is thrown into Skip's stomach and he falls into the water. But it turns out to be an April Fool's prank. You know, like the one Sam Pepper did. Or the Great Blue Hill Eruption. April Fools. But what isn't so funny is Buck. One of the ferry workers decides to try and throw the rope over the side of the water and is injured in the process.
Dumbass.
Muffy gets over and is pretty shocked and confused. The cop tells them to stay put, and they immediately go to Muffy's place. We get some weird foreshadowing on how nothing bad happens to Muffy. We get a grand tour of the place and we see some more pranks. The whoopee cushion under the chair. Hell, even a broken chair that's repairable. Bro, what? But it's not all cherry. One of their main bros, Spike, is having a hard time. Feeling responsible, drinking, and even trauma dumping on the poor sophisticated new girl. Stop that! It gets even stranger as one of the guys, Harvey, begins putting his things away only to find a pretty large amount of newspaper clippings talking about a murder and a fire, all suspiciously circled in red.
So Muffy talks about how a couple years ago that her mother passed away in an accident. Just saying, Muffy now kind of has a motive for whatever this is. Also, why is it just newspaper clippings in this particular room? It gets worse from here, don't worry.
I'm also going to assume those are fake because we also see the cigar Harvey have explode, which could have made us have another trip to the hospital, the sink spray out, and what looks like a heroin user's wet dream. Needless to say, an odd April Fool couple of choices here. Like, there's even a painting that watches you move, which turned out to be one of those cat clock things, and even a baby crying sound effect. Dude, Muffy was prepared. In a drunken stumper, Skip is now drunk. Everyone just kind of forgot about him, like, he's left to his own. Everyone has dinner, doesn't even call him, and he just kind of wanders. And he finds weed. I don't know for sure, but I guess it is. He just kind of starts acting way worse than what he was, and he ends up getting killed, found in the boat floating away.
Hey, it isn't April Fool's Day anymore. That's just plain old murder.
The guys think it's the guy from the ferry as everyone splits up. Arch, Skip, and Nan have died and are thrown into the well as they get a call from the officer, telling them the people from the ferry couldn't have done it since he, the officer, has been with them the whole time.
Couldn't have the ferry guy have sent someone else to do his doings? I mean, boats are one of plenty here, and I'm sure that, considering that place is alone, it wouldn't be too hard to actually sneak up here and no one be able to see it because, dark sea, sneak up, stab, stab, stab.
So the group points out that Muffy's been really weird the whole day, which doesn't get finished because Muffy comes down and says she's going to bed. Everyone, well, not everyone, decides the same as Harvey keeps watch on the stairs and the other guy heads to the attic to see if there are flares. Chaz dies wearing a bondage mask. Kay, I kind of liked him. What the fuck? Anyway, it doesn't help that his lover Nikki finds him dead on the bed like he was waiting for her. She was also there to find Arch, Skip, Nan's body as well. She's not having a good day, honestly. Either way, she dies. Lord, no one is supposed to be left alone, especially Muffy.
Oh shit, not good.
Rob and Kate go to the attic and find dolls laid mysteriously like how their friends died. So they know she's got something to do with it. What now? Well, no time for that because the flare goes off and sadly, Rob and Kit find Chaz and Nikki's bodies as they run outside, forgetting Harvey, or maybe Harvey doesn't care enough. They run down to the dock and find the boat. They realize in order to get the keys for the boat, they need to go back inside the house. This leads to more blood and a discovery of Muffy having a twin sister, Buffy, who the officer was trying to warn them about. Or is it Muffy that he was trying to warn them about? They find Muffy's fake head. It's supposed to be real, but it's fake as fuck, as Buffy locks the windows. Rob ends up finding the keys, but is locked inside the pantry as Buffy breaks in. Kit runs and is nearly killed by Buffy, only to open the door to the dining room and find everyone alive. Yep, April Fools, even though it's the 2nd. Alright. Even the guy from the dock comes around, and it turns out to be a prank. A terrible prank.
Reminds me of the pranks that everyone's pulling nowadays. Needless to say, you are all awful!
So why do this? Simple. So Muffy can keep the house since she's going to inherit it. Like a murder mystery type of deal. Oh, and Buffy isn't the twin. It's Skip. Bottles are popped in celebration. I would beat the hell out of Muffy if this was real. And it ends with Muffy getting a jack-in-the-box on her bed and his neck is slit. But it turns out to be another April Fool's prank. Good. I like how you can tell which is going to be the prank and which isn't. Maybe I'm desensitized, but I do like the creativity they get from this, how gay this movie is. And you thought the gay agenda is being pushed now. The comedy is pretty funny, especially when I could definitely see myself being friends with them. I like the deaths. They're pretty creative at times, with Arch being hung up by his foot and nearly bitten by the snake that seems to have no problem with him rocking around until he's upside down. I also like the way everything just seems to show our characters that their end is near. The door closing and just the ambience makes it more interesting. Bad. Some of the characters I do not know their names of, nor do I get a good sense of their personality, besides one being autistic, one being the rich girl, one being the bad boy pervert, and then there's the goody two-shoes. But it was just bland. This is your personality, you can only have one and nothing more type of shit. You can kind of already tell who the bad guy is. And also, there's a scene with Nan and Muffy that isn't really figured out, and I don't know if she was more so in on it than anything, considering during the dinner, I didn't talk about this, but Muffy gives this speech that basically overshadows Nan's, where Nan is like, thank you for having me here as a new person, and Muffy is pretty much just like, guys, we're all friends here, like, let's drink and have a good time, you know? Then there's the weird side plot with Nan and an abortion tape. It was a choice. Why did Muffy have it? Also, was this a real sort of thing in there? Or was it just to kind of build tension that Nan may have already known what Muffy was planning? It's not said really. I guess the ending kind of alludes that she is indeed the twin and not Skip. But I don't know because that plot is not clear. But also, it also points to, hey, you invited me over because you felt bad about this tape that you saw? Okay, I'm not gonna argue any more of that because it was a side plot that just caught me so off guard that for a good minute, I just went and looked around my room and was like, well, that happened. It's mentioned one other time, and then I guess Nan and Muffy can't just have an argument about, 3 people being dead, or how about this? She's the goody two-shoes, she's kind of a loner, she feels like Muffy sort of brought her here because she felt bad for her, could have been something like that, like, I don't want you to feel pity for me, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, something like that instead of, I don't know, probably a thing that most people don't want to talk about, and also, why is it a tape? Where did she go? It was very clearly tape. Not like sex tape. Like, what the hell is going on?
You know this movie came out the last week of March, not April, right? I don't think anyone cares about that. What about the remake that came out in 2008? I don't think anyone knew that existed until you said something. What about the